Welcome to CrashCon Lecture 1 Fast Lecture!
Bazinga! Easy money, let's go!
For those of you in non-North American countries, that is the Fast and Furious Lecture. What do you do? So, first question is, what the hell is the Fast and the Furious? I'll tell you. It's got cars. It's got people jumping out of cars.
Whoa!
It's got cars jumping out of planes.
Oh man!
Cars jumping out of skyscrapers.
Oh my
It's got women.
God.
It's got hot-ass women.
Oh!
But most importantly, it's got family.
Yeah,
And to that,
I could live without that.
I want to make a toast. Salute de familia.
De familia. Cheers. Oh, I might make you drink. Sure. This doesn't have much on it.
You can have any, to the audience at home, you can have any drink as long as it's Corona. So, first, before we get into the movies proper, I want to talk about really quickly about the directors and writers of this series. We got Rob Cohen, directed the first movie. He's basically like the drunken father of the series. He had a really cool idea. It involved women and it involved cars. He got the idea of the Fast and Furious after reading a magazine article about people illegally street racing in New York. He went to a street race to witness these races and was inspired to create the series. The writer, Gary Scott Thompson, created the characters. All credit goes to him. He wrote for the second movie also, and then after that, Chris Morgan, I'll get to him in a minute. John Singleton, arguably, debatably, most likely, the best director of all these movies. He's had some of the most successful movies in his career, his most famous including Boys in the Hood. His movies typically are like black neighborhood themed. It's got like ghetto and crime and shit like that, because that's his background. Like he's all about the black life. Justin Lin. Oh, and he's like the cool uncle. I want to point this out because the way that these movies have been directed are kind of like, you could tell just by the director or from the movie who the director is. So we got the drunken father, the cool uncle. It's going from 3 to 6, and he's returning for 9. He's cool as hell. Like just as a person and a director, everyone loves this guy. James Wan. He is the weird fucking brother of the series. He directs horror movies. He's most famous for Saw and something else I'm not going to bother to remember. But when we get to I was about to say Resident Evil 6. When we get to Fast and Furious 7, I will explain why the horror elements kind of come into focus, because it's still an action movie, but it's got some horror themes in it. F. Gary Gray, just a fanboy. A fanboy creating like a fanfic sort of idea. He loves cars, and he wanted to direct a movie, so he did.
Dude, I like cars.
David Lynch, or Leach, no, it's Lynch, pretty sure. He has directed movies like Deadpool 2, and maybe not Atomic Blonde, something. You'll know at home. But David Lynch, he is the, what do you call it? He's the friend, like the family friend who just wanted to come in and sweep in. He's directed the spin-off, which we'll get to. So his movie is not in the Fast and Furious lineup, but it is canon. But that's neither here nor there. Chris Morgan has written for every movie except for 1 and 2, and some spin-offs and short films. I forgot to mention that. This Fast and Furious consists of 9 films, 2 shorts, 1 movie that is arguably a spin-off, we'll get to that when we get to it, and an entire 3-season and still ongoing cartoon show on Netflix. It is bad, we will get to that. Just worry about the live-action films. Chris Morgan's cool. Like I said, he's been writing the most, and he probably knows these characters better than anyone else. So he's cool. Any questions? Any questions yet about directors or anything? Okay. So first movie, Fast and Furious. We've got Dominic Toretto. He is a garage mechanic who owns a family business. He has a sister, Mia, and he has a crew consisting of Letty Ortiz, Vince, and 2 other characters who are so minor I'm not going to bother with them. Brian O'Connor is a undercover cop investigating a series of truck heists where they're like stealing DVDs and shit. This movie was made in 2001, so DVD players were like the hottest commodity at the time. As funny as it might be now, it's like you wouldn't even find people fighting for Blu-rays now. We don't actually know he's an undercover cop until about the second act, but he's in this movie because he is trying to get into Dom's circle, and he's like the head of the like illegal street racing scene. He hosts all of the races. He races in some of them. So if anyone's gonna help Brian get to the bottom of these truck thefts, Dom's going to be the funnel to find out. Brian suspects this guy, Johnny Tran, who we meet after an illegal street race that Brian loses to Dom from. This guy's kind of a fucked up dude. He tortures a guy for not getting the right engines and shit. He's complete trash, but he's like also barely an antagonist, because in this movie there's really not much of an antagonizing force aside from like the truck heists. So it's really just, once you get down to it, it ends with like a climax that doesn't involve anyone like fighting one or another. It's just a very bare basic action film. But anyway, at one point Brian suspects one of the racers. He goes to check Dom and his buddy Vince. I forgot to talk about Vince. Vince is like kind of a secondary antagonist. He just really hates Brian because Brian really wants to fuck Mia, and Vince really wants to fuck Mia, but he ain't having that. So they're kind of like rivals in that, but Vince is like really abrasive. Brian gets caught by Vince and Dom when he was investigating another person's garage, and he's saying, Dom, I just wanted to, these guys, do you have any idea what these guys buying? They got these kinds of engines. They got these kinds of tires. These guys are gonna like totally beat you at this upcoming race called Race Wars. So Dom's like, okay, that kind of sounds legit, but I'm kind of suspicious of you. You smell like a cop.
That's like
Friggin'
Race War?
What? Race War. We'll get to that in just a second. It's not. It's a thing. It's a thing that happens. It's hosted by Dom. So Brian, they go to Johnny Tran's garage to see what he's cooking up, because he's also gearing up for
cooking up.
Johnny Tran is going for Race War, so they're gonna go investigate him. Brian finds a bunch of DVD players in his garage, so he tells I didn't mention Brian's working for the FBI. I guess it's not really that important. But he tells the FBI, yo, this guy's got a shit ton of DVDs. We gotta bag this guy. So the FBI goes bag him while Brian is like getting much more friendly with the family of Dominic Toretto. I don't know why I said his full name again, but whatever. So while Brian is getting closer and closer with Dom, as like not just like for his job, but like as a person, like they are like almost like they're on the verge of becoming brothers, sort of thing. Johnny's house gets raided. Turns out he was innocent. Those DVDs in his garage were purchased legally. He's fine. So Brian's like, okay, the FBI says I got one last chance to find out who the hell is stealing these DVDs. So he confronts Dom. Dom, I want in. The FBI suspect Dom of stealing the DVDs. So Brian's like, Dom, I need to get into this race war that you're hosting, so I can.
So is it DVDs or DVD players?
DVD players.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's like a big, like 16-wheeler truck.
It's like
DVDs.
just a bunch of expensive hardware, essentially.
Yeah. Because at the time, like I said before, like DVD 2001, people wanted DVD players. So Brian confronts Dom. I want in on your job. You're not just making your living off of your family-owned business selling bad tuna sandwiches. So let me in on this. So Dom says, okay, show your grit at Race War. So we go to Race War. They're in LA, and Race War is at a desert where people just line up in twos and they just race each other for either money or pink slips. It doesn't matter, but they are just racing. That's all it is.
I mean, is it just like a straight speed race? So like first to like 100 meters or something?
Basically,
like
yeah.
100 meter car race.
100 meter dash in the car.
It's not like they're going through mountains or anything like that. It's kind of underwhelming. Like if you're gonna do it in a city, that's one thing.
So if you had a drag race car, you'd be pretty advantaged in that sort of race.
Probably.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know cars, but yeah, I'm sure there are ways that people could manipulate the rules. Anyway, so one of the characters in Dom's family is a kid named Jesse. He's like a college dropout. He has he has a problem, and he loses in a race to Johnny Tran, but Jesse runs away without giving up the car. So Johnny goes up to Dom and accuses Dom of telling the cops that he took all that he stole the DVDs. Dom hates cops, so he takes great offense to this and beats the shit out of Johnny Tran, defending Jesse in the meantime. I forgot to mention a pretty big thing about Dom. He hates cops because he was arrested when he was I don't know. I think he was in jail for a better part of a decade, not a full decade, but sometime. The reason why he was in jail, his father was a professional race car driver. He died in the middle of a race, and it was an accident. The person who killed him by accident, Dominic beat his head in the face with a wrench, and the guy now has to work as a janitor because he's just so fucking messed up. So that's what Dom went to jail for, and he just hates cops because he's doing illegal shit. So of course he's gonna have amnesty towards them. So after Dom beats up Johnny, Johnny's like, I'm gonna fucking kill you next time I see you. Dom goes off to a heist. They go out to steal another truck. At this point, Brian reveals to everyone that he is a cop. Mia hates him. Dom, Letty, and Vince, and the other guy on their team who's not important, go off to the heist. It is a bust because the driver has like a shotgun, so they could not steal a truck in their usual way, unfortunately. Vince is like caught in the midst of it.
That sucks, man. Damn, I can't steal the truck.
Why can't you just give it up, dude? Like, you got cars.
These aren't your DVDs.
Yeah, exactly. What do you care? Brian comes out to save Vince from getting shot in the face. That was referenced in the picture over here. Hopefully at home you'll see it. So Brian saves everyone, reveals to Dom that he's a cop. Dom gets pissed. They had to call the ambulance to help Vince. So for a second, Brian's okay, but then Brian has to do his job and actually catch Dom. So he meets him back at Dom's house, and Dom has to go find Jesse because it's a whole bunch of shit. But it all collides to Jesse coming at the house, getting shot by Johnny Tran, Dom and Brian pursuing Johnny, killing Johnny, and then Dom and Brian are at a traffic light. They are going to race a quarter mile because Dominic has a sort of philosophy. He lives every second a quarter mile at a time. He's all about that adrenaline and
weed and video games.
he wants to or when he's in that quarter mile, like everything just disappears, shit like that. He's at peace. He loves it a hell of a lot, so he does like this quarter mile to basically, if I'm about to be arrested, then I'm going to like go out like a fucking champion. So Brian and Dominic race. Dom's car gets wrecked, and Brian lets Dom go out of respect. Because at this point, Brian has grown a severe appreciation for Dominic and who he is, and as a brother, and he wanted to prove himself. Dom, I'm your bro. I'm going to let you go. And that's how the movie ends. Or it ends after the credits. Dom is in Mexico. And he's like just driving in Mexico. So after the first movie,
Is this like? I know there's a part where they have to get past like a 18-wheeler and like it looks like they're not gonna make it. And it's like a little short part. Is it in the second movie?
no, that could be a bunch of movies. Because there are a lot of movies. There are a lot of scenes in the series where they like slide under semi trucks. Like even in the first one, there's a stunt. Like probably the most impressive stunt was a car driving under a truck. And they're both driving.
It was before
Yeah.
it crosses.
There's a like Hobbs Shaw has like, was it a car or a motorcycle?
I can't remember, but it was like at the beginning or end of a movie, and I think it was between those two characters is why. But I'm not sure. Like it's so blank, I don't remember.
Well, point is, there are like crazy cool stunts in this series, so that does happen.
But it was a quarter mile, and that's what I remember.
Well, yeah, because the quarter miles they happen a lot in the show.
Okay.
The series. So Dom's in Mexico. Before the second movie starts, there was a short film. It's literally called the Turbo Prelude to the Fast and Furious. Too Fast, Too Furious is the title of the movie. So there's a prelude.
Fucking meme, bro.
And it features Brian. He is he has to be arrested. The FBI calls him out. Got to get this guy into custody for letting Dom go. So Brian makes a run for it. He drives all the way from LA to Miami, which is the setting of Too Fast, Too Furious. While in this film, it is like completely silent. Like the only things that are spoken is like a flashback. But it's a pretty cool short film, I'll say. It's directed by like a guy who does commercials, so it's not like a big name guy or anything. And in this prelude, it is explained that Brian like accumulates like a following. People know who he is and they race because he makes it all the way from LA to Miami by racing for money and all the way down to the east. So in the second movie, we got him. Brian's racing for shit. He gets arrested, and the FBI says we're trying to bust Carter Verone. We're working for the cartel. He is taking money accumulated from the U.S. back to Mexico, so they can get their money. Brian says, "I'll only do that," and they're letting Brian. If he does this job, Brian will be let go of his claims, and he'd be a free man. But he says the only way I can do this is if I got my boy Roman Pierce, which is a childhood friend, and currently in how's it called when you're
House arrest?
House arrest. Thank you. Wow, you got that. All I did was this.
Good.
Did anyone have any questions for the first movie, by the way? Probably not, right? Okay.
No, that's pretty simple.
I just want to make a habit of that in case.
Was it good?
Yes, I would say that it's not as like ironically good as the rest of the movies are. It's got like actual heart to it. It introduces like the whole concept of family, and by family it is not like literal blood relation. Like family is the family you choose in the Fast and Furious. So like there's only a few people who are actually related to each other.
Question.
Yes.
Was it fast or was it furious?
Definitely fast. Definitely fast. But like 10% furious maybe. But so that was just our question for 1 is done. Back to 2. Roman Pierce under house arrest. We need him to do the job to stop Carter. Monica Fuentes is an undercover FBI agent working under Carter. So she has all the intel that they need to bust this guy, but she can't be shown up, so she's got to make very secret trips to the FBI headquarters to let them know when's the next job. And Tej Parker, I forgot to mention, he's going to be much more relevant in the future movies, but in this movie he is just the producer of illegal street races in Miami. He's he's got his finger, to quote the movie, he's got a finger in everything in Miami. And he'll do something later. So
Nice.
they go pull a job, like a training job for Carter, with Brian and Roman, and they get his fucking cigar cutter, and it was just a test. Carter's going to give him the actual job now. In order to do the actual job, they need to get new cars because they found out that the FBI is tracking them. They didn't know that because the FBI is just a dick. So they have to go get new cars. They get new cars. They meet up with Tej, say, we need an escape plan in case things go south for this final job, which is to get the money and bring it to Carter at the end of the movie. So Brian and Roman are with they get the one thing to mention. Roman and Brian, they have a history because one shows the police life, the cop life, and the other shows the criminal life. And it just so happened at one point Roman was doing an illegal job. Brian just so happened to be there. Roman got arrested, blamed Brian for it, even though it wasn't technically Brian's fault. It's not like he set out to convict his friend Roman. It was just two bad things happening at the wrong time. So Roman hates Brian. But this is a movie about owning up to your mistakes and brotherhood. So that's what they are training to do here. So once the job comes in, Carter says, okay, I need to get the local police to open a window for this transaction. So he gets the police chief of Miami, tortures him into allowing them to get this window. And what he does, this is the criminals kind of escalate in their torture means. All he does is he gets a bucket and a rat. He puts the bucket and rat on top of your belly and heats the bucket up, and the rabbit will just scratch at the person until it finds a way out. So it's pretty fucked up. So Carter's pretty fucked up. So they start the job. Brian and Roman are both with one of Carter's henchmen, and they have to race from one point of Miami to the other. They meet up with Tej in a garage where Tej has set up. This is a big garage. This is like a storage garage facility for cars. So they go in there to hide, and when the doors open, all of these cars come flooding out of this garage, and they're scrambling. None of the police can get them, and no one in the FBI knows where they are. Their original cars may have had trackers, and they can track those cars, but in the middle of the scramble, they switched cars to the cars that they got from a race previously. So they meet Carter at an airport, or they're driving to an airport, but turns out Carter wasn't actually there because he fed Monica Fuentes, or the Monica, wrong information. So now Carter knows that Monica is betraying him. So although Monica gave him the wrong information, his henchmen tell him to go to this shipyard. So they go to the shipyard. Roman and Brian dispatch of their henchmen, thwarters, and when Carter runs away with Monica, they grab a car and jump the car on top of the boat just before it can get too far out into the ocean. Carter's arrested, and they get away with some money that they stole from the money that they got from Carter, and they're free men now. Any questions on the second movie? Yes, Brittany.
Was it fast or was it furious?
Fast. Definitely fast.
they were like acquitted of all their crimes, like Brian and shit for some reason, or?
Yeah, Brian after the events of the second movie he is reinstated as an FBI agent.
Oh, okay.
And Roman is just free to go. So, before we get to the third movie, we need to talk about a very special movie. This movie is not technically canon to the Fast and Furious series, but it is directed by Justin Lin. The guy I said before has directed the most consecutive Fast and Furious movies. This is one of his first movies, Better Luck Tomorrow. It is an all Asian American cast. If you're gonna go look up like Asian American movies, this is like one of the top most regarded movies. Legitimately, unironically, the best movie of the series. At least of the movies I'm talking about. It is very good. Go watch it. It is very fast and very furious.
Yes.
Sonorically best. Dope.
I don't want to talk about it for too long. I'm just going to go over like the basic premise. But the reason I bring this movie up is because it features this character, Han Lu, who comes in the third movie, which we will get to after this. Han Lu is one of the major mainstays of the series, and this movie explains his backstory pretty much. But basically what happens in Better Luck Tomorrow is they're all in high school, and by that I mean they are actors who are like 30 years of age pretending to be high school students. Like all great American high school movies are, am I right? They are overachievers, and they find like solace in petty crimes and shit. They hand out cheat sheets. Eventually they get into dealing drugs.
Nice.
And shit like that. But for the characters, we got Ben Manabag. He's the main character of the movie. He's just he's kind of like the audience stand-in. If the audience was an overachieving Asian man. But he just wants to do a normal life, wants to get all the grades, and be successful in life. His friend Virgil, who is a dipshit, but he's also one of the overachieving smart-ass Asian men. But he's just very irresponsible. Blah blah blah. Han Lu is his cousin, Virgil's cousin. He is a woman-loving, like one pack a day smoker kind of guy.
Based.
And he has a car. This is like the one movie that like doesn't feature a lot of cars, but he does have a car. Derek Liu, he's like the overachieving club. He's the club leader in like every club. What's the word? Club leader. Who's like in charge of the clubs? Whatever it is.
Club president?
Yeah, club president. He's a club president of like every club. And he's the one he's the one that gets them into dealing cheat sheets and drugs and all this other shit. Steve Chu goes to a different school, and he's dating Stephanie Vandergosh. He's kind of like, he's sick of his established life. He's got it so good, he's so happy that he's sick of it. He just wants like a different life, and
Just go crazy.
he's like the polar opposite of Ben, basically, where he's comfortable, but only slightly miserable with his daily life. He's like completely miserable and only finds solace sometimes. Stephanie Vandergosh is dating Steve Shaw. She's just the token girl, really. I mean, she's got some complexity to her, but it's not going to be relevant.
Women.
There are relevant women in this show, in this series. Ben's got hots for her. Steve lets Ben take her to like prom and shit because he can't be bothered with that. At some point in the movie, they all get guns and they encounter some jocks. The jocks give them shit for being Asian and just smarty pants buttheads, and Derek pulls a gun on them. After that, they are like established as like the top tier like illegal crime shit. They do it all. They steal stuff from schools and sell it back to people, and they even start using the coke that they sell. After a point, Ben gets sick of it. He can't do the drugs, so he says, "I want out." Derek agrees.
No, sorry, go on.
You okay, buddy?
Yeah, I'm good.
Virgil and Han decide that they're going to continue doing the distribution. Virgil fucks up because he's a dipshit, gets Han suspended. Han beats...
Suspended from school.
Well, because he gets suspended because he was caught dealing cheat sheets.
Oh my
Oh, you're
God,
dealing cheat sheets.
Yeah.
Not that time he pulled a gun on some of the students.
Well, that was Derek,
like
but
a
yeah.
crime ring is just like,
Yeah, all the worst stuff, but it's the cheat sheets that gets them caught.
Well, because you know he got caught at school, but they're just like really down low in the crime life, I guess. I don't know what to tell you. I guess the wherever they live, they got their priorities. I think it's also LA. Pretty sure it's LA. So Han is suspended, beats the shit out of Virgil because Virgil's the reason he got suspended. They go to Vegas at one point for a national decathlon. Derek and Han get a stripper, and Virgil, like the dipshit he is, pulls a gun on the stripper because she said she wanted it rough, and interpreted it that way because he's a fucking idiot. Plus, Han is about to kick his
I've
ass.
seen this. I feel like I've seen that scene at least, right? Pulling the gun on the stripper rough thing. I feel like I might have seen that. I don't know.
Well,
I mean, I've been in that experience
Yeah,
myself.
we've all been there, you know. You might be thinking about real life.
so Virgil pulls a gun on Han. Han's not having it anymore. He's in the group, but he's just taking his he's controlling himself a little more. He's not gonna be beating up on Virgil anymore. Then Steve comes up to the four of them and says, "Hey, I got a job for you guys. I want you to steal from my parents' house because my parents are the reason I'm like this. I want to basically kind of get revenge on them for basically being good parents for raising me right. Thanks, Mom and Dad. Now give me all your fucking money." Derek says, "Fuck that. Instead of stealing the parents' money, Steve is going to get shown up. They're going to beat him up." When they get to that point, they have a gun with them, so they drop the gun. Steve grabs the gun, and then Ben comes in, beats him to death. He is now dead. All of them are freaking out. Yeah.
Oh my God.
With a bat, he had a bat with him. So Steve is dead, and they bury him. Virgil, stricken with so much grief and guilt, he attempts to shoot himself in the head. He's been hospitalized. And now Han's fucked up, that's my cousin. He pulled a gun on me, but of course that's my cousin. Family, again, remember, family is very important. At the end of the movie, there's a montage where Han shakes his head, and it's supposed to be in reference to Virgil is now deceased. So that's the end of the movie. Han is now, after the fact, he meets Dom in Mexico at one point. And this is just all hearsay. The director and Han himself have, the actor for Han, have said in interviews that they kind of consider Better Luck Tomorrow canon to Fast and Furious, but maybe depending on their mood they'll say no. But it's basically, fans have accepted Han Lu as Better Luck Tomorrow as canon to the series. Any questions on this and that movie?
What happened to the other two? Did Ben go to jail for beating the dude to death?
No one gets caught. Steve dies, and they bury him, and no one finds out. They bury up his body real quick because they hear Stephanie calling him, and that's the last time we hear it.
In the next Fast and Furious, they're gonna have a true crime cat cameo covering that unsolved case in the Fast and the Furious.
No.
That would be so cool.
That would be pretty cool.
I
Unfortunately,
just think this is so are you gonna say something?
No, go.
What the fuck? This just seems crazy to me. This is just a story about some high school kids that are upper class, upper middle class in LA, and they have good grades, and their parents are "Oh, I want a good life for you." And they're "Nah, we're gonna steal cars and get guns, and these jocks are gonna call us nerds, and we're gonna pull out our guns on them, and we're gonna fucking sell cocaine, and I'm gonna beat this dude to death." I don't understand.
These kids are miserable with their lives, so they want to just basically fuck themselves up just to get a
good
hit.
grades. That's the takeaway.
Yeah. despite like the gravity of the things that they're doing, I'm like, you're just being a fucking edgy nerd. Like, stop.
Yeah.
I can't.
It's funny you bring that up because when this movie first premiered, some critics were criticizing this director and everyone else. Is it really okay for Asian Americans to be portrayed this way?
I was thinking that too.
But in that viewing, Roger Ebert was there, and he said, "Fuck you for thinking that. This is an Asian American director and actors portraying a film they wanted to create. So the fact that you have anything to say about it is completely invalid because it's not your ethnicity. You shouldn't be complaining about the ethnicity that you are not derived from." So this was a passion project. This was a movie made out of love from Justin Lin and all the actors. Some of these actors, like Steve Cho, I think most people know. He's obviously from the Fast and Furious. But all these actors have not done much since, and even up till Better Luck Tomorrow. So when these actors read the script, they fell in love with the script. They wanted to be a part of this movie. This was like I said before. This was the most unironically good movie of the Fast and Furious franchise. Go watch it, especially since it arguably has nothing to do with Fast and Furious. This movie is Fast and Furious because in the movie they say Fast and Furious, which is they literally say Fast and Furious.
Is that the first time
They did it. They said the
That
line
is the only time they've ever said Fast and Furious.
was in the debatably canon spin-off.
Yes. It was like a monologue of Ben talking about like when they're at their peak of crime making. He's like, we were Fast and Furious and doing our crimes and shit. So yes, go see this movie if nothing else. Better Luck Tomorrow, great film. So we move into the third movie. If you're a fan of the Fast and Furious, this is the first time you see the character Han. But the main character of this movie is Sean Boswell. These characters, aside from Han, will not be relevant ever again. So do not worry about them at all. I should mention that up until the fourth movie, 1, 2, and 3 have been very standalone movies. They were not made in... They were not made for the benefit of a series. They were just one-off movies. They had a story. They wanted to tell it. It just so happened that we wanted to use these characters from that one movie, and that's what they went with. So this is the last movie of that train of thought. This is Justin Lin's debut Fast and Furious movie. So Sean Boswell lives in America. He's a fucking asshole. He races, he gets wrecked. Him and his mom have to move around all the time. And when his mom says, finally, I'm fed up with going to different schools and going to different towns, he is shipped to Tokyo. The movie, I gotta remember to tell the title of this movie. This movie is Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift. So he goes to Tokyo to meet his dad. He goes to school, and he meets Neela and Twinkie. This is a very anime movie, by the way, because all the characters are clearly not young enough to be high school students, and they're doing like the most doing and looking like the most anime shit. This is like 18 anime where it's all about the teen drama. It's really funny, honestly. Arguably the worst movie of the series. I actually really hated it up until recently, but it's got really good practical effects. But anyway, he's in Tokyo. He goes to school. He meets Neela. He meets Twink. Twinkie introduces him to the racing scene in in Tokyo. Takashi here, main antagonist, is what they call DK. Anyone want to take a guess what DK stands for?
Donkey Kong.
Sean thought the same thing.
Well, I remember that, like, because there's a country accent. You mean Donkey Kong? He says it like country accent.
Yes. He has a very annoying country accent, and it is his actual accent. So he just I don't know what their idea was. Like, you'd think maybe they tell him to not talk like that, but I guess not.
I mean, it's a normal accent. I mean, I'm country. I guess it makes sense to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I personally just found it annoying.
Yeah,
So I guess
yeah.
that's just a bias. But Takashi is DK, stands for Drifting King or Drift King.
Oh, dude, that's me.
He really has an attitude with anyone who is a foreigner, despite the fact that his grandmother allowed Neela into their family because Neela was her mother was a, what is whore in the Japanese?
I don't know.
Geisha woman. She was about to be put into the geisha life, but Takashi's family saved her from that. So now she's basically hooked with Takashi. They're more like stepbrother and sister than dating. I think the movie tries to make a thing that they are kind of an item, but it's not really clear, and I personally don't find that canon. So they're really more stepbrother, stepsister sort of thing. Sean has the hots for Neela. So after Sean races DK at this race, that he's like, I'll show you up, Takashi. I'll show you how good my racing is. He's very pompous. He's very showboaty. Han lets him use his car. Han is Takashi's business partner, as far as you know at this point. And he wrecks the car. He doesn't know how to fucking drift. They're driving in a parking lot, like a 10-story parking lot. And it's like completely empty except for, all the people who are there to watch it. So as they're racing, he completely wrecks the car. He now owes Han a new car, so he has to work for Han throughout the rest of the movie. Turns out Han is stealing money from Takashi through their business, which is literally never specified. And I had to watch the movie like 3 times just to make sure I didn't miss something, because like they literally just do not tell you what the business is. It's weird. You could assume maybe it's drugs, but who knows? So he's stealing from him secretly. Takashi doesn't know. Sean starts dating Neela. Takashi gets pissed, beats up Sean, and Takashi's uncle comes in, who's in the Yakuza, tells Takashi, "Do you not know Han is stealing from us?" Takashi gets pissed. Chases after Han and Sean and Neela, who were all at the same time in the same place. Han dies.
Oh shit.
He is T-boned by a car in the middle of a race through Tokyo. It is presumed at that point Han is dead. So Sean and Neela leave. Takashi meets Sean back at his apartment where his dad is, and takes Neela back to stop Takashi from killing Sean. Sean then goes with money that was owed to Takashi and his uncle, and suggests a race between him and Takashi, and whoever wins has to leave Tokyo. So his uncle agrees, Takashi agrees. They go to race down a mountain, and Sean wins. Takashi is taken out of Tokyo, and he's now the Drift King of the series of Tokyo. And at the end of the movie, Dominic Toretto comes back, and it's like a big shock to everyone at the time, because he was in the last movie. He was one of the best characters of the first movie. Turns out Dom has a history with Han. I mentioned that earlier. They met in Mexico at some point, and we're about to get into their history. But yeah, so the movie ends with Sean challenging Dominic to a race. Yes, friggin'.
Was it fast or was it furious?
Neither. It was drifting.
Ugh.
Drifty.
Is that Obama?
So, after any other questions about Tokyo Drift?
Who won the race at the end?
I was gonna ask that. Yeah.
Did I not say that? I did.
No, you said they raced. You didn't say who won.
Sean won. I said Sean won, and Takashi was taken out of Tokyo.
No, between
Yeah.
Vin Diesel.
Oh, we don't know. We'll find out in different movies. In like 6. Dom won.
Okay.
Does the hit song Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift play in this movie?
Dun 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 dun. Yes, it does. It plays like when he first gets into the
There's
racing
like a
scene.
garage and there's like cars and ladies and
Yes.
stuff.
like I said, it's like a 10-story like parking garage. It's like my favorite.
That's when he loses the first race and fucks up the car, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So after the third movie, and before the fourth movie, the second and last short film called Los Bandoleros features Tegalio and Rico Santos. They are both criminals working under Dom. Han, he already knows Dom at this point. This will be his second appearance. Well, really, aside from Better Luck Tomorrow, this is the first time you'll see Han chronologically. So at this
I
point,
was gonna ask why he was there. I thought he died.
yeah, no, I'm sorry. We'll get into it. Tokyo Drift is a sequel, and up until 7 is a prequel to Tokyo Drift. So it's ordered wrong. It's ordered weird. Because like I said before, up until 4, every movie was made without a plan in mind for a future series. So when they wanted to use Han, they had to come up with a reason why he's here. So from 4 onwards, they are prequels to 3. Yeah.
So Tokyo Drift is the last movie. So is Tokyo Drift the last chronological, or?
No, there are movies that come after 3.
Okay. But up until when?
Up until 7.
So 7 is before.
No. Up 6 will be the last movie before Tokyo Drift.
And then 7 is after.
7 is after.
Okay.
7 is there's a little bit before Tokyo Drift, and then they do this. They do a cutaway. We'll get to that.
3 and 7 are kind of concurrent.
Yes. But basically by the end of 7, Tokyo Drift is done.
Okay.
So Los Bandoleros, they're at the Dominican Republic. They're living in a town where they have no gas. Gas is severely expensive. Dom, Tego, Rico, well, I mean all of them. They're all gonna go steal this gas tanker. Traveling just like the old days, like in the first movie that they would steal trucks, contents by slashing the chains that connect one tanker from the other. That's how they would steal it. So they're out to go get this gas for the town, and a rich man that lives in the Dominican gives them the information they need to go do it. That's literally all that happens. This short was actually directed by Vin Diesel himself, and it kind of shows. It's a cute movie. It's certainly not the best directed, and it's like 20 minutes long, but it's probably the most comfiest, honestly, of like all of the content of this series. It's got a lot of family feely stuff. There's like no action in it. It's just all like family loving and people talking and caring and shit. So
slice of life, something.
yes, that's a very good way to put it. So they go out to get the tanker. Letty was like, I don't know, spelunking somewhere, and she's like reintroduced in a way, like, even though she just disappeared along with Dom, but for whatever reason she had to find Dom in this short, and something happens in the middle of this short that we will get to. I don't want to spoil it right now, but just remember, this was that short film where this certain event came up later.
So there's no racing?
No.
What?
There's no racing.
But it's Fast and Furious.
Yeah, so this is a Furious, I guess, because you're
They
pretty
go
mad.
fast and steal the truck, right?
Not until they don't actually do the theft, because this is actually like a prelude to the fourth movie.
Oh.
So there's no racing.
There's no racing.
Are there even cars in this movie?
Dom is seen working on a car.
So
They don't go?
There is a plane. Han has to fly in from wherever he was, and they have to pick him up. So there's that car.
I gotta say, I was expecting way more like Speed Racer, just super over the top car stuff.
I mean, I
We'll
can
get
talk
there.
about the racing, but like, what do you want me to tell you? Like,
do they go fast?
one person wins and the other doesn't.
do they go fast?
Yeah, like
is there NOS involved?
Oh man, I'm sorry. I forgot to tell you about the NOS. Damn
Enlighten
it.
us about the NOS.
NOS is just, I forget what the actual like scientific term for it is.
Nitrous oxide.
Nitrous oxide. There you go. Makes them go fast.
It makes your car go fast.
You press a button and fire spews from the ass and propels you forward. at
Yeah,
a
I gotta get some of
faster
that.
rate.
Make me go faster.
Yeah. And that was introduced in the first movie, but like in every movie they have NOS. And there's like, if you want to speak about racing real quick, it's like there's a race in the second movie where they do a barrel run, like a relay run around a barrel. So they do like a quarter mile, drive around the barrel, come back, and then the next person on their team has to drive to the barrel, come back. First person to finish wins. It was kind of like a high stakes race because at the time Roman and Brian, because this is the second movie, they had inferior cars to the people they were competing against, so they had to like use some strategy to try and trick their way into
Was
doing
that
it.
strategy NOS?
Literally, without the NOS, they would have lost. So yeah, because the guys' cars engines by themselves were as good as their cars with NOS. So if the other guys had NOS, they wouldn't have won.
Do they sell Fast and Furious brand of NOS for your car?
Oh,
I don't know. That'd be pretty
Put it
sick.
in the soup.
I
With a button included.
I do know that Fast and Furious popularized the brand of NOS because NOS is just a brand,
Okay.
so it's not like short for anything. Like by definition, it's just a brand name. So people in the fan community will just call it NOS, but really everyone's like, it's just nitrous oxide. Like, it's not NOS, it's nitrous oxide.
No, it's NOS. It's kind of like it's not a tissue. It's a Kleenex.
Yeah, basically, yeah. So that movie ended. Was there any other questions on the Los Bandoleros? It's really short. There's really not much to it. Like I said, it's just a family movie. Shit happens. I remember again. There's a special event that happened in the movie that I will reveal later. So, Fast and Furious. This is where they wanted to reboot the series, and that's why the title is so confusing. Where the first movie was called The Fast and Furious, this is simply called Fast and Furious. I'm sure you've heard plenty of people talk about stupid titles and why would they reuse the same title again.
This was sort of them trying to do like a soft reboot.
Yeah, and it kind of shows a lot, especially with the character of Brian. I'll get to that in a second. But basically, in this movie, Brian is once again an FBI agent. Dom and Letty and wrong button. Dom and Letty and Tego and Rico do the job in Han. They do that job that was hinted at the end of Los Bandoleros. It is the beginning of Fast 4. So they get the gas, but Dom decides that he can't let Letty and everyone else risk their lives for his job and shit. So he runs away, doesn't tell anyone where he is, except Mia, because she calls him eventually at one point. And Letty goes back to the States. Letty finds Brian and says, "Hey, is there anything I can do to get Dom back?" Brian says, "If you can help me catch shit, I kind of spoiled it. If you can help me catch this guy Braga, then we can let Dom come in. Like, that'll be payment for letting Dom come in legally." So Letty goes in to try and find Braga, get any intel, because they have no intel on Braga. She is killed during her job. And Mia calls Dominic at the beginning of the movie to tell him that. So he comes in and he wants revenge on who killed Letty. So he knows that he has to find this guy Braga. Brian gets some intel that tells him that he needs to go to a race. Dom knows about the race. They meet up again for the first time since the first movie. And it is abundantly clear that they want, like, Dom wants Brian to just go fuck off. He he's here to do his thing, but Brian's here to do his thing. So they basically, they could just tell Ramon Campos, who I'll get to in a second, that what both of them are trying to do. Like Dom can tell him that Brian is a cop, that would fuck him over. He can tell that Dom is trying to kill Braga, fuck them both up. So they're like an unmovable object in the unstoppable force, trying to fuck each other up. So Ramon Campos is a man working for Braga. He looks for racers to do jobs for him. Phoenix is Ramon's henchman, number one henchman, and Giselle Yashir is the person who organizes the races. He organizes the races, but she calls in the racers. She hosts the racing events to find the best racers in LA. I think they're back in LA again. So Brian and Dom, they both win spots onto the job to get money. I think this is like another cartel job where they have to get money from the U.S. back into Mexico, but instead of doing that weird Miami to Mexico boat tour that Carter wanted to do, they're just gonna go straight through the border under a tunnel. In this tunnel, they have to do really fancy timing. There's a camera that's panning over that has a heat signature, a heat camera visual, whatever. So they're racing in toward this tunnel to get into Mexico. Turns out they were gonna kill every racer anyway, but Dom and Brian get away, and they take the money that they just took into Mexico, and they go back, and the FBI accuses both of them of being criminals because they ran away without them knowing. Ramon and Phoenix obviously want them dead. So they make up a deal.
How did they kill all the racers? So there's a bunch of racers. What happened?
Well, they once they finish the job, they all meet up at one spot, and then Phoenix will just kill them with a gun.
Okay.
He just brings a machine gun.
Was this one event with everyone standing around and they just sort of?
Yeah, once they finish the job, all the racers are forced out of their cars, and they're just move here, gotta finalize the job or whatever, and then Phoenix will just pull a gun on them.
Well, if you stand in the line.
Basically, yeah.
And they did Vin Diesel and they just sort of ran away, or were they in that line and they were just in the back?
Oh, okay. Yeah, what Dom does is he lights one of those cigarette butt lighters in his car and opens a gas can of gas. And once the gas fills up enough and touches the cigarette lighter, the car explodes. And that's how they get away.
So they knew. So they were sitting in the car and they never got out. So they weren't with the big group that all got out.
They did the race through the tunnel. They're all in their cars, and they meet up at a hill. And it's Phoenix and Brian and Dom and two other guys who who were in on the job, just two random guys. And Phoenix has a whole crew meeting them in Mexico. And so the crew's there to, get everyone out of the car. Phoenix was with them during the tunnel run, guiding them through the border. So Phoenix was, the guy in charge. So once they met up at the hill, Phoenix he gathers all the drivers up using his henchmen, and when he was ready to kill them, they killed him.
So why is Dom still in the car here?
At this point, Dom, they are getting all the drivers out. Dom realizes, okay, I think I'm probably going to die now, so I'm going to create an escape.
So one of the other cars has guys around the car, and
he does it very sneakily.
But is there anyone next to him? I need to know where they physically are. So where are they?
I think we're overthinking this scene. He
Like,
just kills the people.
He's in a car. Dom is in his car, and each car is lined up next to each other.
Yeah.
So he's in his car, and the henchmen are going around
So
each
is
car.
there a henchman right next to him? Or no?
Not when he pulls in. I mean, when he pulls in, yeah, but not throughout the whole event.
So most of them are just sitting in their cars then.
That most of them are just waiting for the drivers to get there.
Okay.
The henchmen are waiting for the drivers to get to the hill.
Yeah.
And then once they meet up at the hill, they pull them out of their cars, and Phoenix kills them.
Okay.
All right.
So, does anyone try to run? Because if there's all these.
Well, no one. I mean, they don't know that they're about to be killed just yet. Like Phoenix isn't just gonna like pull the gun on them immediately. He gets them lined
But like
up.
after the first one, aren't there other people all around?
No, no one is killed until no one is killed before Dom makes the car explode.
Oh, okay. So he just figures out that there's something
Yes.
off. Okay.
Yes. Like Dom figures, I think I'm about to die, so I'm gonna create an escape route. Does the cigarette butt and Nas trick. Car explodes. There's a shootout. Everyone but Brian, Phoenix, and Dom die.
So they're gonna shoot out from the car explosion. Wait, so where'd they go?
They just ran away. They took a car and ran. Like one of the henchmen's car or something.
And they see them running away, but they shoot them off after them?
They basically everyone's dead except for Phoenix, Brian, and Dom. Like during the shootout, all the henchmen are killed by the two of them.
Okay.
Okay.
So it's just a distraction?
Everyone's gone except them. Like they just leave. That's all. That's all.
So he starts an explosion, runs to another car, gets a gun, they fight, and then he gets in the car and drives away. This is really confusing.
Well, it's only for a minute, so it's not that big a deal. All you need to know is Dom, Brian are alive. They have the money that was supposed to be transported for the cartel, and now Ramon and the FBI want both of them because they have the money. So they decide that they're going to give the money, but only if they can meet Braga, who by this point, we don't know who Braga is by face yet. There was like this one stand-in guy who comes in for the meeting, and they figure out there's no way this is Braga. Turns out Ramon was actually Braga the whole time. So Ramon takes the money from this meetup. There's like a shootout because the FBI is stupid. They thought they had a positive ID of Braga. Turns out they pressed the trigger too quick. So they capture the fake Braga who was there at the meeting, and the real Braga gets away. He takes the money, leaves Mexico. Dom and Brian get away from the FBI, so they can actually try and catch Braga and finish the job. Giselle, I said shit about Giselle. Giselle was like almost killed by Braga, just like because she was expendable to him. So she decides that she's going to help Dom and Brian get away to catch Braga. And one thing I forgot to mention, Phoenix is the one who killed Letty before in the movie. So when Dom finds out that Phoenix was the one due to he looked at Phoenix's car, knew based on some chemical residue on his car, Phoenix was the one that killed Letty. So at that point, like halfway through the movie, Phoenix is the one that killed Letty, and Dom is out to kill Phoenix. So Dom, Giselle, and Brian meet in Mexico. It's beyond the FBI's jurisdiction to actually apprehend Braga, so the two of them decide that they're just going to go and get him without any help. They grab him at a church. Turns out Braga was he's very religious, and he was trying to basically buy his way into heaven. And there's a scene where he just gives all the money to the preacher there, and that's his story. But they capture him through sneaking to the back end of the church or something, and there's a race through back to the tunnel where they originally went through, and Phoenix and all of Braga's henchmen are after them. They're all shooting at him and shit. They get through the tunnel. Brian has Ramon in his car. Dom is protecting Brian through the race. Phoenix gets Brian. He T-bones Brian's car out of the tunnel. Seemingly, Brian is about to be killed. Phoenix has Braga in his custody, or whatever, they're good. And Dom comes out of nowhere at the last second, kills Phoenix with his car. FBI come, they grab Braga, and Brian and Dominic go to the FBI. and there's a trial at the end of the movie that's going to judge can we actually let Dom get away with all of the crime that he's committed just because he helped the FBI at this one time. The judge declares that Dom has to be arrested. He hasn't done enough good to make up for all the bad shit he's done. Because if it wasn't clear, Dom has just been doing crime his whole life since he got out of jail. So he's like pretty high up there in FBI's most wanted. Because he just keeps stealing shit and trucks and shit. So there's like 20 years of stealing that he had to go through. So at the end of the movie, Dom is arrested. He's sentenced 20 years. But Brian says, fuck that. I quit the FBI indefinitely. Him, Mia, and Dom and Lego from Los Bandoleros go break him out of a bus. We'll get to that in a second. But the movie ends with them racing a bus that has all the prisoners. Oh, I have it right here. And it's left to the next movie to figure out what happens. Any more questions for 4?
Was it fast or was it furious?
Definitely more furious. This was, honestly, in my opinion, I think 4 is probably one of the weaker movies. It kind of retreads a story beat with Brian, because at the end of the first movie, he's just like, I'm not an FBI agent, and I choose to do this crime life. But then, he decided, and then by the end of the second movie, Brian is full in I'm into crime. I'm into doing the passion, the driving, and the shit. And then and he's allowed to be free at the end of the second movie. And when this movie comes in, he's just reinstated as an FBI agent, out of nowhere, just kind of oh, he's an FBI agent again. So that's the thing. But then at the end of this movie, he's just nah, fuck that. I'm just gonna go back to doing crime again. So it's kind of weird in how they do that with Brian. So it just kind of retreads the same plot points again. But everything else with Dom is pretty legit. Yes.
So why does Phoenix kill Letty?
Because she did the same job that Brian and Dom did.
Oh, okay.
She like I said before, she went to Brian, how can I get Dom how can I get Dom to come back to the U.S. without putting shackles on him? Brian said, if you can help me find Braga, then I'll let Dom come back. But as we learned from Brian and Dom's venture, she was going to be killed by Phoenix at the end of the job anyway, so it's presumed that she's dead then.
Got you. I thought she was just killed randomly beforehand, and then he found it out and was like, oh no, that's so random, I can't believe it's happening.
Yeah, no, it's because she did the same job that they did. That was about to get them killed. Any other questions on 4? Alright. Fast 5. My favorite movie of the franchise. It's got the best that the series has to offer and the worst. And I mean that in the most hyped way possible. We got Luke Hobbs. He works for the DSS. I don't care to remember what it stands for. Basically, higher than the FBI. He's out to catch all the worst guys you can get. Herman Reyes is a billionaire in Rio. This movie takes place in Rio this time. And Elena is a local cop in Rio that is employed by Luke to help him with apprehending Dom and Brian. Because at the beginning of this movie, Dom and Brian Brian and Mia and Tego and Leo break Dom out of the prison bus that he was on. Yes, they do. They flip an entire bus full of prisoners, even though it's physically impossible. A bus cannot spin the way it's portrayed in the movie. At this point, this series gives no shits to reality. It is full-on action, over-the-top popcorn flicks. And that's how the movie opens, which is this bus being overturned by simply Brian's car being there, and like slingshotting the bus like over itself. So they break Dom out. They meet in Rio with, I didn't put his picture here, I forgot to. Vince from the first movie, he comes back. He's lived in Rio since after the events of the first movie. He had to retreat to a more secure life. So he's just there in Rio. Brian and Mia, they are full on dating, if I didn't mention. So they go to Vince, and Vince says, I got this heist. I got this train heist. We just got to steal a few cars from a moving train. Before it was just like trucks on the road, but now it's like a train. So now the crimes are, even though it's like a similar crime, the crimes are getting a little bit more escalated. Like they're getting more dangerous. So they have to go apprehend these cars. Dom comes in at the last minute. For some reason, he wasn't there when Brian and Mia was there for dramatic effect, apparently. So they go steal these cars. All these cars are owned by Herman Reyes, and they were taken by the FBI or whatever for investigation. So Raymond hires Vince, and Vince brings in Mia and Brian and Dom for the job to take these cars out of the train and bring it back to Herman. But Brian, this is where like kind of the story of this movie gets kind of fucky, and why I said like this movie's like kind of the worst of the series, because the plot makes no fucking sense. Brian just like sees these cars, sees that they're being brought in by not the FBI, the Federal Drug Administrator, the FDA, and says off screen, like it's not even said, like I'm just kind of assuming. He basically tells me and Dom, hey, we probably shouldn't let these cars be taken by these guys, by Herman and Vint and whatever. Like, it's probably a bad move to not, like, stop this, even though they shouldn't give a shit. They're criminals. They're not gonna, like, get brownie points by doing the right thing here. But they decide, okay, let's just take one of these cars out. The car that they wanted the most, like the henchmen that were there said, hey, we need this car. But Dom says, hey, we're gonna take this car. We're meeting at the same place. What difference does it make? So Dom and Brian, they start a fight with the henchmen. The FDA guys that were on the train figure out that the train is being stolen. They go back to the train, to the back cars. The henchmen kill the FDA agents, and Herman and the henchmen, they declare that Brian and Toretto are the ones responsible for killing the FDA agents, so they are put on the highest list, and that's when Luke Hobbs comes in. Like I said, Luke Hobbs is after the baddest guys. These guys are just like regular everyday criminals, but now it's like, now they killed like FDA agents, we need these guys like post haste, so they get Hobbs. And like I said, Hobbs employs Elena. Elena has had a husband who died, so she wasn't originally in the force, but because of her husband's death, she became a cop just to live up to the memory. And so now that Dom and Brian and Mia have a problem with Herman. Oh no, I'm sorry, I'm jumping ahead. Luke Hobbs finds Brian, Dom, and Mia in Brazil, and tries to hunt them down. He fails. Mia reveals that she's pregnant with Brian's kid. So they decide, we are not splitting up ever again, because throughout this entire series so far, all they've been doing is splitting up. They've just been going all over the fucking place. So the pregnant Mia encourages them to stick together from now on. So that's what they do. And they organize a heist to steal all of Herman Reyes' money. Like I said, they have no beef with this guy whatsoever, aside from the fact that he had cars that the FDA confiscated from him, and they hung him in a garage and was about to kill them. But like, it was their own fault that he was whatever. There's really no real reason for Dom and Brian to have beef with Herman, but they just do. They just decide Herman is a fucked up guy. Let's steal all of his money. So Dom calls everyone in from every movie that we've had so far. We got Roman and Tej from 2, Han from 3, and Giselle from 4. Everyone is here. Smash confirmed. And they are going to, like I said, steal Herman's money. And what they do, they start by burning one of his cash houses in Rio. Once they burn that, Herman gathers all the money from the rest of his store hashes or cash houses, puts them all in the police station. He's the richest man in Brazil, so he's got all the contacts he needs. He has control of the entire police department to bring all of the money in there. So they have to find a way to break into the police station. I should also mention Tego and Leo from Los Bandoleros are also in this movie. Los Bandoleros was like the only movie that they were like really important in. And even then, not really. They are considered they're pretty much considered by fans to be part of the family, but they only make cameo appearances from this point on, so it's not really much point in bringing them up whenever they do.
Extended family.
Yeah, there you go. Extended family. That's a good way to put it. But so they're there to help them with the heist, and what they do is they hook up cameras into the police station by cutting a hole. You'd ask me how the fuck did they do this shit, so I'll explain it briefly. They put an explosive in the sewer system at the police station, make it blow up, and they come in as janitors to repair the problem. And then they they cut a hole in the wall of the bathroom, hook up a camera system to the wires in the wall, so they have feed at their hideout to look into all the police's camera footage. And then they just fix it. I guess no one knows that there's like this giant hole in the wall that it's not like it was broken or anything. There's just a hole in the wall. I guess it was like, taped back in or whatever, but it's not like you're gonna make that a perfect fix. But basically, no one mentions it. Hobbs is after everyone at this point. He has intel on everyone on Dom's crew, and Luke Hobbs shows some balls by coming up to Dom in the middle of an illegal street race. They were just posing, Dom and the crew, and since they're in Brazil and they're like they're in their, like, Dom and Brian, they're in their element at the time. They're like in an illegal street race scene, so everyone's got a gun on them in Rio. And when Hobbs threatens them, he's like, they're like, yo, you're in fucking Rio. You're not just going to take us alive without a fight. So Hobbs leaves for the time being. But in the meantime, Tej was putting a bug on Hobbs' vehicles, so now they can track Hobbs. I should also mention, before I said that Tej and Roman, they were like just regular criminals. Now all of a sudden Tej has a history of like high hacking capabilities. He's like a complete computer whiz now, just out of nowhere.
Okay.
Like it's briefly mentioned into that he has a history, but it's not like it's said what that history is. And Giselle, I think they actually kind of play with Gal Gadot as a person and kind of incorporate her into Giselle's character because she is of the same Israeli, I believe. So she has a history of Israeli combat. And for those of you who don't know, Israel, like all women in Israel are employed to work for the army. At one point in their lives. So she has a history of combat, and in the movie, she knows how to use guns. She knows combat. She knows how to fight. She's good. And Han is really good at sneaking. He's like a chameleon. Is described in this movie. Like Dom calls everyone as a special person for a specific purpose. So you got Roman Pierce is the loudmouth distraction, computer whiz. combat specialist, spy, I guess you can say. Two of the best racers in the world. They got everything they need. But at one point, Hobbs finds, as they are training in their garage to work around the structural layout of the police station. They get like the schematic, the blueprints for the police station, and in the giant warehouse base that they have, they like outfitted the whole warehouse with turns that mirror the police station. So throughout the middle of the movie, they are training in the warehouse to try and beat the camera. They have like a mounted camera that mimics the camera that would be at the police station. They can't get through this police station. Basically, they know they can't. So they decide, let's just get police cars. So they go steal police cars. That'll let them get into the police station a lot quicker. Once they have the police cars, and yes, it was just that easy. Like they just went into a the parking lot of the police station, just ran away with the cars. There was no resistance whatsoever. Eventually, Luke Hobbs catches up to them and immediately arrests Dom and Brian and Mia and Vince. Everyone else had just left to go start the mission, so they got away. But the four of them were arrested. Herman's henchman attacks Luke Hobbs' caravan. He has like a whole team with him. Herman's henchmen kill all of Luke Hobbs' men. So now Luke Hobbs wants to get revenge on Herman. He helps Dom and Brian with the heist. But now, like, everyone at Herman Reyes' disposal is on high alert. They can't just sneak around anymore. So, despite this whole movie, trying to pull an Ocean's 11 and try and sneak their way into getting all the money, they just say, fuck it. Let's hook up, like, whatever. They get cables. A winch? No, I don't know. Yeah, winches, right? The rolly things. Pull up winches and they on cars, and Luke rams through the police station, breaks a wall into the room that has the safe that has all the money. So he crashes into the police station, lets Dom and Brian hook the cars up to the safe, and they drive through. They just rip the safe out of the wall and just drive it through Rio, destroying everything that is there. The bank goes through the safe goes through banks, presumably kills people, but we don't see that much. But they are just fucking hot dogging it through the entire city, destroying everything in their wake. They come to a point where they get to a bridge. There's nowhere to go. Police are right on their tail. There's no turns and shit that they can maneuver around. Dom says, Brian, you gotta go. You gotta go be safe. You gotta take the money, because he lets Brian go. Dom has the safe on his car still. Dom rams the safe into all of the other police cars, like they just, were meeting, and destroys like half the cars and shit. And it ends with Herman Reyes dying. One of his henchmen's there. His henchman, who has a gun up to Dom, is killed by Brian, who came back. Luke Hobbs comes in. He says, I got my revenge, but you guys ain't taking this money. So he says, I'm going to give you a 24-hour head start because, you helped me get revenge on this guy, but I'm going to come back after you. That ain't ending. And Dom and Brian are like, okay, bye. And turns out they pulled an Ocean's 11 plot twist. Turns out that the safe that was on the bridge that they were hauling was not the same safe that they had when they stole it from the police station. They had previously bought a safe so they could practice hacking into it. since they couldn't just like hack the one that was at the police station. And there is a scene underneath a crossover bridge where they pull the safe with the money onto a garbage truck that Giselle and Tego and Leo were driving, and then they took the faked the empty safe that was in front of the garbage truck, being held up at the front of the garbage truck, and they carried that out. So Luke, Hobbs, Dom, Brian on the bridge. You ain't taking the money. Turns out they already have the money. So just an empty safe in the middle of a bridge. Movie ends with Brian and Dom and everyone is $10 million richer. They're all living a good life. Tej opened a garage so he can work on cars because he just loves cars that much. Roman and Tej both buy the most expensive car not the most expensive, but two of the rarest cars in the world. There's only 4 of these cars made. And they bought 2 of them, each of them. Han and Giselle become a couple. Han is a woman lover, so but they're special.
She's a woman, so
yeah, exactly.
it makes sense. Why is Elena big? Because she sounded like she didn't do anything the whole story.
Okay, I'm sorry. Elena, her father, her husband was killed years ago. She took up the mantle as a cop. During the first confrontation of Vin and Hobbs, Vin has his necklace. This necklace will be explained later. But this necklace is basically symbolic of Letty, who is still dead at this point. And he dropped it during the first confrontation with Hobbs, and Elena picks it up. Dom sees Elena later, realizes she has the necklace. He goes to her house, picks up the necklace, and they have a heart-to-heart. They both kind of relate to each other on fallen loved ones. And by the end of this movie, Dom and Elena are now a couple.
Okay, so that's why she's big.
Yeah, and she was hired by Hobbs because he felt that she was the only local cop that couldn't be bought and manipulated for anything that wasn't his job. So, and he was right, because she, like I said, her husband was killed. She has a reason to fight, so she was trustworthy, and that's why she was there. And so Dom and Elena are a couple. Brian and Mia. Mia is just nearly pregnant, about to give birth. She's pregnant. She's going to have a baby. That's the point. And that's how the movie ends. Everyone's living a good life now. End credit scene. Gotta bring her back because I barely talked about her. Come on. Monica Fuentes comes back at the end in the post-credit scene. Comes back to Hobbs and gives him a folder. There's this crime shit going on, Luke. You need to look into it. Turns out Letty is alive, and Letty is doing some fucked up shit somewhere. And that's the teaser for the next movie to come, where
so
they
she was the
investigate.
one we thought was killed by Felix.
Phoenix, yeah.
Phoenix, whatever.
Yes. Everyone thought she was killed. We never actually see her killed. That was the thing.
Yeah.
It was just kind of assumed. There's Dom has a scene in the 4th movie where he kind of imagines what happened, because he's like an animal tracker but for cars, so he can see all the skid marks on a road and tell what happened.
Dude, what?
Yeah, it's
So
weird.
he's a car ranger.
Yeah, you can tell. You can see
Puncher
that.
guy.
So he kind of visualizes in his head how Letty died, but we never actually saw her die for real. So it was always left up in the air whether or not she was alive. So at the end of the 5th movie, she is revealed to be alive, and that is set up for the 6th movie. you got this guy Owen Shaw, who is kind of this movie has a concept of Owen Shaw is kind of like the Dom, like the evil Dom, and he has a whole crew, and his whole crew mirrors the rest of everyone else. And they got like a technician, and Letty is the token girl of the group. One of them. There's two girls in there. There's two girls in both groups. Doesn't matter. Hobbs comes to Dom, says, "Hey, Letty's alive, and she's working with Owen Shaw. And we need you. I know you can. I know you have some reason to do this. So I want you to help me. Not for any real reason aside from Letty. Like, basically, Dom and everyone in the crew has basically paid their freedom after that Rio heist. So that's why everyone's been living the good life, even though they're all wanted criminals. But they can't go back into the U.S. So Hobbs offers them, I'll let you come back to L.A. You can go live in your old house if you help me catch Owen Shaw. So Owen Shaw's got a crew. Riley Hicks is working with Hobbs to... She's just another DSA agent. She's like the same level as Hobbs. But they're just working together to catch Owen Shaw, because Owen Shaw is now, at this point in this series, like the most dangerous criminal they've ever come across. He's got the most fucked up cars. He's got a car that can flip another car just by running into it, because it's like angled so that the car, it's like a ramp. It's like a ramp car. So he just runs into cars and they can jump over his car and fucking fall and die and shit and whatever. So the whole crew is after Owen, and hang on. So look at right now. So obvious notes now. So Brian, aside from Dom, no. Okay. The whole crew encounters Owen. Brian is now a father. Mia gave birth. He's now a father. It's a big deal for him because he never knew his father, and he was afraid of it at the beginning, but Dom comforts him like, hey, you're going to be a good father, because if you don't, I'm going to kick your fucking ass. So that's what he did. He's a good father, but now Letty's back, so they got to get the family back together. So they have a fight. They meet Owen. Owen beats them like racing through the streets of London. This is where this movie takes place, is in London. And now Owen's like, who the fuck were these guys? They almost caught us. They almost beat us like on this job, so we got to investigate them. So he investigates them. They find some evidence to try and figure out where to find Owen. They go to like a garage who has a guy who was selling specific car parts that Owen was using. And then Owen sends his henchmen to go after the crew that was investigating the garage. One of them die. It doesn't matter. They fight. They still lose. The henchmen get away with no problem. But Letty, who's on Owen's team, she's very sympathetic towards people. Oh, I forgot to mention, she's got amnesia. She was presumably killed in the fourth movie, but she's still alive and she has amnesia, so she has no idea who anyone is. She was found by Owen Shaw. Actually, she was taken to the hospital by Giselle, and that's where she was. Letty was kept, and Owen Shaw found her later and took her under his wing. And so now she's working for him, and that's why. And so Owen has a very machine-like mentality. He doesn't care about family. He just wants the job to get done. If you can't do the job, then you aren't worth shit. If you die, that's on you. But Letty doesn't like this. She likes family. She likes people. She wants to give everyone the light of day. So she finds sympathy in Dom. Because Dom knows her. She knows that he knows her, but she doesn't know how, and she doesn't know if she can trust him. But Dom, over the course of the movie, will encounter her in street races and convince her, hey, I know you, and I like people too. You're awesome. And she finds like some camaraderie with him with that, and begins like a transformation of going back to Dom's side. So new job comes up. Owen is after a MacGuffin of some sort. It's part of a not like an EMP, but he's trying to make a device that will basically obliterate like the functionality of an entire country, like the size of a small country or something, to put everyone in the dark. It's basically an EMP, but it's like a special EMP of some sort. And he has to go get it from a tank. The tank has this device, and so him and his crew infiltrate a caravan that is transporting the tank that has the device, and he takes the tank out of the caravan, and everyone is fighting him. They're fighting a tank on this highway. Roman's got like some wires, and he's got his car hooked up to the tank's top half, and they're going over a bridge. The car is thrown off the bridge, and that rips the top half of the tank off, thereby stopping Owen from getting away. So they have Owen captured, and they meet back at a base, and they have to let him go because half his henchmen went to go capture Mia, who was back home in LA. Not in LA, Rio? Yeah. Somewhere. She was somewhere. But they kidnapped her as leverage to let him go back out. Turns out also Riley Hicks is actually a traitor. She was actually working for Owen the whole time. The Rock, Now she's a traitor. Owen tries to get away. He calls in a really big plane, and they drive down an airstrip. They pursue him, and they bring down the train. I mean, not the train, the plane. The whole crew brings down the whole plane while in combat with Owen. And during the scuffle on the plane, Giselle dies. And like I said, Han and Giselle were an item. Giselle one of the henchmen was like trying to kill Han, and she was like hanging off a driving car at the time. So in order to save Han, she had to like let go of the car and shoot the henchman dead. So now she's dead. Han is miserable. Everyone's like, shit, Giselle's dead, but Liddy's back now. Because after that job, they go back to LA, everyone's happy, quote unquote, except for Han, and now Liddy's back on the crew. And then at the end of this movie, post-credit scene, that's when we see Han die again in Tokyo Drift. So, and a new character. Yes.
What happened to Owen?
During the scuffle on the plane, he survived being tossed out of a plane somehow. And at the beginning of the next movie, he's hospitalized.
And what about Riley?
She died.
She died?
Yeah.
She was on the plane or something?
Yeah, everyone was on the plane. Or, everyone on Owen's team was on the plane, and everyone on Dom's crew was trying to bring the plane down.
What were they even going to do with that?
We'll get into that.
Oh.
But Riley's dead, and Owen is hospitalized at the end of the movie. Or at least in the beginning of the next movie. But in the post-credit scene, Han died, and some guy, some guy actually is the one who killed Han. Because in Tokyo Drift, it was kind of just presumed it was an accident. They were speeding through Tokyo. So, of course, Han was going to get killed by just like a random car just driving. Turns out, we'll find out in the next movie, Owen Shaw's brother, Deckard Shaw, is the one who intentionally killed Han. So we're about to get into that now. Any questions for Fast and Furious 6?
So, what's up with Elena? Is that like still a thing with Dom at this point?
Okay, yeah. Okay, I should get into that. With Elena at the beginning of the movie tells Dom, if I were in your position, like if somehow my husband was alive, I would do the same thing.
Mm.
So Elena encourages Dom to find Letty.
Okay.
She is very okay with it. She's not a part of the crew. She's not helping with the Owens capture or anything. But at the end of the movie, she comes back at the end. Letty basically thanks Elena for being Dom's girl for a while, and Elena and Dom split up. Letty and Dom are now back together. But it is under good terms. Everyone's good. Elena's like a little disappointed, because who wouldn't be? But she is now working for Hobbs also. At the end of the fifth movie, she was working for the real police, but now she's upgraded to Hobbs' employment at the DSS. Friggin'.
Was it fast or was it furious?
Very fast, pretty furious. Not a bad movie. Again, I should mention, like, people give this series crap for just being like really over the top, stupid action movies, and they are. I do not fault anyone for not getting into this series. It is very stupid, but it's very fun. That's why I love it. So we took a break, got back on. We're going to get into Fast and Furious 7. We left off in 6. Owen Shaw was hospitalized. Han is dead at the end of the last movie. Letty is back with Dom and the crew. And now this movie opens up with... Yes.
So is this like right after Tokyo Drift?
It's going to start out a little before Tokyo Drift.
Okay.
This is going to be a little build-up, and then basically Deckard kills him a third time. And then after that, they go to a funeral, and that's where the movie starts proper after Tokyo Drift.
Gotcha.
But all that happens.
Found it.
Corona. Got another one here. So all that's gonna happen in the beginning is we got Deckard Shaw. Movie starts out with him at the hospital. His brother Owen is hospitalized. He says, "I gotta get the people who put my brother in the hospital." So he's out for blood. He's gonna kill everyone on the team. I want to point out every movie since 3 has been Justin Lin. This is now James Wan, I believe, is the director now. He was the horror movie director. The reason why there's a horror element is because in this movie, Deckard Shaw is the Michael Myers of this movie. And he comes out of absolutely nowhere to cause shit. And the whole premise of this movie is Dom and the crew using a new device called God's Eye, which was invented by this girl Ramsey, which is able to hack every single computer on the planet to find someone, like anyone. If they are within earshot or camera view of any electronic, God's Eye can find any person.
Okay.
So they need the God's Eye to find Deckard Shaw. Turns out Deckard Shaw is basically his own God's Eye because he knows where everyone is on his own. Turns out he's like an expert tracker, so that's how they explain why he's able to find everyone. So very horror because this guy just comes out of fucking nowhere, just like how in horror movies the fucking serial killer can just come out of nowhere. It's like, well, where'd you come from? So Deckard Shaw breaks into the DSS headquarters, hacks onto Hobbs' computer, finds the location of every single person on Dom's crew. He puts Hobbs in the hospital after setting off a grenade that Luke, Hobbs was trying to defend Elena from getting blasted. He took the blast from her by jumping out of a window as the explosion kicked and fell on the car and broke his arm. So throughout the majority of the movie, Luke Hobbs is in the hospital with a broken arm and a cast. He's alive, he's well, it's just the arm. But now Deckard Shaw has IDs on everyone, and he's out for blood. First person on his hit list, aside from Luke, was Han. Kills Han at the end of the movie. I mean, at the beginning of the movie, at the end of Tokyo Drift. At the same time, Deckard sent a package to the residents of Dom and Mia and Brian. You know, after the events of the last movies, are living in LA again. This package was sent from Tokyo, so he gets a call from Dom gets a call from Deckard. Deckard says, "You don't know me, but you're about to." He's out for blood. Package at the Dom residence explodes, destroys the entire house. Everyone's alive. Brian, Mia, and Dom, and Brian and Mia's child. I don't remember his name, if he even has a name. I think it's Jack, maybe? I don't know. But everyone's alive, but the entire house is decimated. Now everyone's like, we gotta fucking kill this bastard. But how do we do it? They go to Han's funeral, where Dom goes to Tokyo, where he meets Luke, whatever his name was from the third movie. Beats him in a race. Gives Dom the necklace that was lost in the movies. Don't remember how, but Han had the necklace, or Owen Shaw had the necklace, and Deckard got it from Owen, and Han got it from Deckard, and then it came back to Dom. That's how he has the necklace again. It's not really important yet. So now they're in. He brings back Han's body back to America for a funeral. Deckard finds them. Dom encounters Deckard. Deckard gets away because Mr. Nobody here, literally, that is his name under his organization, that is like hidden from the FBI. Like they don't work for the government. They're just like an undercover society, kind of like the MIB, Men in Black, sort of kind of thing. So he just works within his own boundaries to keep the world stable, whatever. This is where the series goes really fucking disgusting with their international heists, and now everyone's like a spy, and everyone's fucking smart and strong. And basically, everyone's a superhero now, working for Mr. Nobody. That's how it feels. So Mr. Nobody informs Dom how they're gonna find Deckard is by saving Ramsey. Ramsey was abducted by this guy Mose Jakande, who is after God's Eye. They take down his caravan that was going down a hill. Save Ramsey. Ramsey says, "I hid the God's Eye in a car back in somewhere in India," and this is where the infamous driving a car through a skyscraper, through another skyscraper, meme comes in. They have to go up to this rich guy's apartment where he's throwing parties like 24/7 because he's just like a billionaire playboy. And they have to steal this car to get because God's Eye is literally inside the car. But they don't have any time because their cover is blown. Deckard Shaw shows up out of nowhere. He also showed up previously when they were on the hill trying to rescue Ramsey. He just came out of nowhere. He comes up again during the skyscraper heist, just causes shit, just out for blood, but he just gets in the way. Just an inconvenience. They are running through the skyscrapers with the car, but the brakes are broken, so that's why they don't just stop. And they, just in the nick of time, they grab God's Eye. They bring it to Mr. Nobody. Mr. Nobody lets them use it to find Deckard so they can get his revenge. Mr. Nobody's a cool guy. He's a really cool fucking guy who is respectable of everyone. As long as he gets his shit done, he'd be willing to help. They find Deckard at a abandoned oil factory or factory. Turns out Deckard teams up with Mose Jakande at the last second, so they can bring down the crew, or he's willing to help Mose get God's Eye if Mose helps Deckard kill the whole crew. Everyone gets away. Everyone's saved scot-free. But now Mose and Deckard are now after the crew. So they go back to LA where they're going to do... they're going to hack... Brian dropped God's Eye because that's how, what they used to find Deckard. He dropped it at the house, and now they have God's Eye. They can find them wherever they want. And now Mose needs to find and kill Ramsey because she's the only one who can stop God's Eye from working anymore. So now Ramsey has to be close enough to God's Eye to hack it and shut it down. That's where the LA comes in. They have to play keep away with Ramsey running through LA and doing some fancy driving maneuvers to keep Mose, who has a helicopter now. He owns a private military. I forgot to mention. So he just has a whole military convoy and helicopters at his disposal to take down all the cars that are carrying Ramsey. So Roman, Tej, Letty, and Brian are the ones playing keep away with Ramsey as Mose is trying to find him. Ramsey eventually hacks God's Eye, turns it off. Deckard and Dom were on a roof or at the top of a garage structure, beating each other up. Deckard, he beats Deckard. Deckard gets arrested, and we find out during the course of this movie, Letty was on the fence with Dom because he has all these memories of her. She has no memories of him. I need to discover myself. So at the beginning of the movie, she went on a self-discovery journey. Turns out, back in Bandoleros, I remember the thing that happened was Dom and Letty got married, and now her name is officially Letty Toretto instead of her name was Letty Ortiz before. So it just so happened that once she figured out that they were married, she got all of her memories back. So throughout this entire movie, Letty was pretending that she, I don't know why actually, it's kind of a weird thing that I think about it. Letty, for some reason, pretends that she still has amnesia. Dom's about to die at the end of the movie, but he lives. Letty tells her, hey, I remember we're married, don't you die, because if you die, I die. That whole mentality, family thing. But Dom's alive. Everyone's alive, everyone's happy. Deckard is arrested, taken into an underground prison cell, whatever. Mose's dead.
Did Owen die, or?
Owen is still hospitalized at the beginning of the movie.
Okay.
He'll come back in the next movie for a brief appearance. Any other questions? I think that's everything. All right.
Wait,
Yes.
was it fast or was it furious?
It was pretty furious, a little fast. All right, so Fate of the Furious, the 8th movie. Dom and Letty are now in they're in some other country. They're having a proper honeymoon now because now that they've rediscovered that they're married, Letty is everything. They're on an official honeymoon for the first time since they got married. Dom encounters this girl, Cypher. Cypher has some dirt on Dom. Turns out that Dom actually got Elena pregnant back in between 5 and 6. And Cypher, and he didn't know, because Elena explains later that she didn't want him to be conflicted, because at least not until after the baby was born, because she was pregnant at the time. But when Letty was found out to be alive, she wanted Dom to have full tunnel vision to save Letty, so he's not distracted. So, but after some events somewhere in between the movies, Cypher abducted Elena and her son, and is now using it as leverage to get Dom to help her do some bad shit, to commit crimes and shit. This movie's gimmick is Dom is now rogue. He is now against everyone, and everyone's against him. He's basically been like the strongest player on the whole crew. So it takes everyone just to beat one Dom. So the whole movie, Dom is collecting parts for her, so she can get nuclear launch codes, so she can basically control the world. This like I said, the stakes just keep getting stupidly higher. There's a part where they go to New York, and she's the best hacker in the world. She has a small team on a plane that is constantly flying. I guess it has to stop by once in a while, but as far as satellite imaging and whatnot is known, she cannot be found anywhere on the world. So she's just always invisible to the naked eye. But she is an expert hacker. And in New York, she's employed Dom to go fetch the nuclear launch codes from a Russian diplomat that was just visiting New York for whatever reason. And she hacks like every single smart car in the city. And there's just this huge action scene of cars like avalanching through the city, falling from garages from 5 stories up to capture the Russian limo and shit. She's fucking insane. And literally insane, because all she wants to do is basically be set for life by making... She's like Kira from Death Note. Like, as long as she has the power to kill anyone, she can get whatever the hell she wants. Not so much for justice, like him, but she's fucking crazy. Dom, through some finagling, is able to distribute a message to Magdalene Shaw, who is the mother of Owen and Deckard Shaw. He asks her for help because she's second to Cypher and whatnot. She's probably one of the best criminals in the world, and she's got the years to show for it. So he goes to her and says, "Hey, secretly, can you get Owen and Deckard? We're gonna break them out of prison." Hobbs, god damn it. Hobbs was arrested early in the movie because now he was helping the crew do some illegal shit. He's in jail with Deckard. They don't like each other, and Mr. Nobody breaks them out of jail. They are, then now the whole crew is working with Deckard to stop Cypher. I'm sorry I didn't mention it. So he tells her, "Hey, get Deckard, and Owen should probably be out of the hospital and out by now, I guess. I guess he just didn't suffer that bad injuries from that plane fall. I'm going to stop Cypher, but I need you to keep my son and Elena safe. So go capture them on the next job." During the job in New York City, Donovan fucks up and almost lets Letty get away with the nuclear launch codes. And so Cypher kills Elena. She's now dead. Baby's still alive. So now the race is to get the baby before Cypher gets the nuclear launch codes, and Owen and Deckard can get to the plane because he's got the necklace, a tracker outfitted onto it that's on the plane now. So they go to a submarine base in the Antarctic where Dom is going to use an EMP that they stole for Cypher earlier in the movie, and they're going to take over the submarine that will be able to launch any nuclear weapon anywhere on the planet. Mumbo jumbo, doesn't matter. The team now has to stop Cypher's henchmen and whatever from getting the submarine from getting into open water. And I didn't mention the little nobody. He's just a stand-in dude helping the crew. He's really not important, but he's a new character and he has a speaking line, so that's why he's there. He's kind of like, he has an arc of trying to be a better leader, because he just makes really rookie mistakes throughout the movie, but at the end of the movie he's just like, fuck the rules, let's just do what we have to do and get it done. That's his arc, and he never comes back again, so he's not important. Deckard and Owen get onto the plane that Cypher's on and rescues the baby. Cypher gets away through an escape hatch on the plane, and at the end of the movie, everyone meets up. Elena never gave the baby its official first name because she felt that Dom, as the father, should give it to him. And so he names the child Brian. I didn't mention that Brian's not in this movie anymore because the real actor, Paul Walker, died in between the shooting of the 7th film.
Okay.
Yeah, they made a huge deal about it. Paul Walker died. Part of scenes in the 7th movie were had to be CG'd with his likeness in to finish the movie. But in remembrance of the real life actor, they named Dom's new baby after his character Brian. So now Dom's kid is named Brian.
Is Brian dead in this movie, or?
Brian is quit. He quit.
Okay.
Like that's their excuse for not bringing him back. They even say, like, we can't let Brian and Mia back into this because they said that they were out and we're not going to let them bring him back in. So that's their excuse as to why Brian is gone. Yeah. Yeah, it's basically the end of that. So Dom has not adopts, but gets Brian, the new child, and Letty are now, the adoptive mother, stepmother, whatever you want to call it. That's it. Any questions on the 8th movie? Yes, it was Fast and Furious.
Yes.
Alright, so the 8th movie is, as of now, the last official Fast and Furious movie. This next movie, Hobbs Shaw, is a spin-off. It is canon to the series, but it does not feature Dominic or anyone else of the crew except for Deckard and Shaw, hence the namesake. This movie is about Hattie Shaw, Dom and Owen's sister, youngest sister. Owen does not come back in this movie at all, so that's why he's not here, just for no real good reason. But Hattie is employed to capture a virus called the Snowflake, which will basically, if it's allowed to activate, it'll poison the atmosphere, and anyone who breathes in this virus will have their insides liquefied.
It's like
or something.
Triple X, like another Vin Diesel.
Yeah, is that what happens in Triple X?
I don't know, there's something with a virus. I'm mixing up movies, but
If it's that, then yeah, I guess this is basically Triple X, but without Vin Diesel. Brixton here works for this company, Etion, and the Etion is run by this director who we never see the face of, but only a distorted voice over of. And Brixton is used to work with Deckard Shaw. Deckard used to be a pretty good guy before he went rogue. He was trained to be one of the best trackers and manhunters on the planet, and he was going to be employed by Etion, but when he denied to work for them, they sent Brixton after Deckard, and Deckard killed Brixton in self-defense. Brixton survived, and then was cybernetically enhanced by Etion Company, and is now quote-unquote Black Superman. He has a helmet that can, a motorcycle that can work by itself. He's impervious to basically all bullets, and he doesn't have heat vision, but he's really fucking strong. And he's got like a spinal enhancement that amplifies all of his abilities, basically. So he's after Hattie, and they're after Dominic and Hobbs are after Hattie because she's convicted of taking the snowflake and leaving. Yes.
What? What is this supposed to be in the future? What do you mean Black Superman? I feel like there was a leap in logic here. Like, the virus part was already kind of weird, but I feel like this is out of left field.
No, like I've said, these movies get really stupid.
Even the last one with like we're controlling all the computers in the world from one place.
At least that possibly seems like feasible to somebody who knows nothing about computers, but this is entirely different.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, you don't know anything. Maybe you just don't know anything about superpowers.
I mean, he doesn't do like anything superhuman. It's just like cybernetics that cause him to be more superhuman.
Yes, he does. He is super strong.
I mean,
he's bulletproof.
In the fourth movie, Dom literally took a bullet to the shoulder and did not react to it, like, at all. He didn't fall.
He's just tough, man.
Yeah, he's just tough. Like, after
have you seen his jawline? He's tough.
Like, after the fourth movie, things just escalate stupider and stupider,
But Brixton just is
but more awesome.
a cyborg.
He literally is a cyborg. It's ridiculous. It's stupid, but it's great.
Okay.
So they're after Hattie. Hattie is convicted of taking the snowflake and leaving and killing all her team. Turns out Etion has like overwhelming control over like the news media, and it's Etion's the reason that Hattie, Deckard, and Hobbs are convicted later of being the most wanted people on the planet, whatever. But they find her, bring her back. Brixton comes in, tries to take her back. He fails, and they have to find a way to get the virus out of her. So they find the scientist. They find one of the scientists who he was in London, and the DSS or the FBI or whoever claimed that he was really hard to find. Hobbs, being one of the expert trackers, like comparable to Deckard, managed to find him, the scientist. This scientist is a Russian scientist living in London who frequented the same and only Russian newspaper in the city. And the movie claims that he was impossible to find. Stupid. This movie is stupid. So they find the scientist, and the scientist says, we need to get this machine that will extract it from her body, and everything will be good. Thing is, Brixton has the machine. Because the scientist was the one that invented the virus in the first place. He thought the virus was going to be used, because it wasn't originally like a person-killing virus. It was like a virus that was supposed to be good for humanity. It wasn't a virus before, but now it is a virus. It was an invention to be beneficial, but Etion decided that we're actually going to kill all weak people so the strongest people can survive. That's Etion's agenda. So the scientist goes rogue, and they find out where it is. They break into Brixton's compound, whatever. They go in, steal the machine, but it breaks. They still get away. Everyone gets away. It's fine. But now Hobbs says there's only one man alive who can fix this machine. And it is my brother, who has never been mentioned, lives in Samoa, which is like an island off the coast of Australia, where The Rock is from. Dwayne The Rock Johnson is originally born. My brother is also, just so happens to be a super high-tech genius who can fix this machine that he obviously didn't work on in couldn't know anything about, but he can fix it. You know, he's smart. So they go to Samoa. Brixton follows them. They find a way. All of Brixton's henchmen's guns run by like a fingerprint scanner, so no one else can use it. But they make a way to turn off all of their guns, so they just have a hand-to-hand or like a tool-to-tool combat fight, which is kind of cool at the time because it's like it's all been guns and shit and blasting and shit, but now it's like we're just gonna use like ancient Samoan family heirloom weapons to fight like these 21st century super soldiers or whatever. So that was pretty cool. Eventually they have a race. Brixton at one point captures Hattie. They escape into a helicopter. Deckard and Hobbs make like a chain of cars to help bring down the helicopter and keep it from going away. They bring down the helicopter. They fight Brixton. Turns out, as hardcore as Brixton was, the only way to beat him was, hey, Deckard, you take the first hit, I'll land a hit on Brixton, and vice versa. So it was just a matter of take a hit to land a hit. Like, it was that fucking easy. Like, Brixton's like basically a bitch now. Brixton instantly loses. Etion kills Brixton, like just deactivates him. Turns out that Etion has a history with Hobbs that we do not know about. And Hobbs doesn't know who this director is yet. Like, he knows who it is, but he doesn't know who, he would know the history, but he doesn't know who Etion is. But Etion has a history with Hobbs that we will find out in a future sequel. Okay, before I get to that. So, Hobbs and Shaw, the last movie of the Fast and Furious franchise. After this, coming in April 2021, will be the next movie, Fast and Furious 9. It'll feature Dominic's never-mentioned other brother, played by,
Okay.
who?
I just said okay.
Fucking, what's his face? The other wrestler. Whatever. He has another brother.
John Cena.
John Cena, thank you.
Actually, I was trolling.
Yes, no,
you said the other wrestler when I said it was me. No, you're right.
Yeah, no, it's literally John Cena. John Cena is Dominic's younger brother.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
They left that one out for a while.
They just forgot to mention it until now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't want to see it.
Cypher is going to be coming back in the 9th movie, and John Cena is working for her to take down Dom. They have like a vendetta of some sort that we obviously don't know about yet, but like I guess a superiority complex. And it's also revealed that Han is still alive somehow.
Okay.
We saw him die. They had a funeral. Somehow he's still alive. And that's,
And they never did anything with like the other guy from Tokyo Drift. He was just a random high school.
no, Han is the only character from Tokyo Drift that ever comes
Other
back
guy's
to do
just
anything.
random high school. Did you see the race where they raced?
No, you never see the race between him and Dom.
Do you think maybe they turned Han into a cyborg like they did with?
I wouldn't be surprised.
That would be so cool.
And like in the 9th movie, Justin Lin comes back since the 6th movie to direct it, and it's probably the real reason why Han's back is because Justin Lin
But in canon,
is coming
they
back.
confirmed that Dom won, or you're just saying he should.
No, Dom definitely beat the guy in Tokyo Drift.
Was it confirmed somewhere?
It was confirmed in dialogue.
Oh, okay.
Like he after the race, he like says to Dom like, "I never seen anyone race like that before. Like, goddamn, shit, something like that."
So it's just like, and then the other guy was just a random high schooler, so he's not like a high stakes spy.
Yeah. In the continuity of Fast and Furious, everyone in Tokyo Drift are just high school students.
Yeah.
They do not matter
Yeah,
whatsoever. Han just so happened to be like this super criminal who
Yeah.
decided to work with these high school students. So yeah. Alright. So we are now almost done. I only have this stupid thing to talk about. I got a...
Well, is that Subaru in the top left from Ray Zero?
It probably is.
He's got the yellow and black tracksuit. It's the same.
So Netflix got a animated cartoon based on Fast and Furious. It is not canon. You do not need to watch it. Do not watch it. Don't even treat it to your kids. It is terrible. Tony Toretto, which is this is dumb, by the way. He looks terrifying.
He's like
younger
Mr.
cousin.
Clean.
He looks like Mr. Clean even more than he already was. We got Echo, Frosty, Cisco, Layla, Miss Nowhere, Gary, Shashi, Rafaela, Matsuo, which is another like cybernetic person. I'll get into that in a second. And Cleve.
Is that Nicolas Cage?
Where?
In the bottom right. Tell me that's not Nicolas Cage.
It could be. Honestly, the CGI in this guy's so bad. Like, when I initially saw him, I was like, that has to be like another Dominic Toretto or like Vin Diesel like lookalike. Like, they must have gotten a person who looks like that and they tried to CGI his face, but it's not. And I'm like baffled that it's not. So I'm just gonna go through this really quick. It's stupid and dumb. Miss Nowhere supposedly works for like the same agency that Mr. Nobody works for. Employs these literal 16-year-olds to become spies. And Dom, it like encourages them to become spies because he's just an irresponsible
That
uncle.
makes sense.
This a completely PG-rated show. They don't use guns; they use paintballs.
Oh.
It's really funny sometimes.
No.
There's 3 seasons and there's a 4th season coming out later this year.
Oh, God.
There's 3 seasons.
There's
I thought it was
3
just a one
seasons.
movie.
No, it's 8 episodes a season.
Oh, okay.
So there's 24 episodes out already. First season features this guy as the antagonist. He's out to get these 5 cars that are going to be used as 5 keys that are going to get him a helmet that allows him to control any machinery that is like within a certain radius. And it's got like
this is like the plots I come up with Legos when
Yeah.
I'm playing as a kid. It's like,
Exactly.
oh, we gotta get the generator, and when we get to the generator, we can control everything. I'm like,
exactly. This is terrible.
it's literally.
And the funniest thing is this helmet literally has like a digital emoji function. So like when he's angry, like this emoji face will just be
so
angry.
it's Rina-chan bored.
Yes.
Oh, God.
Turns out the reason why he was doing what he was doing was because he wanted to get revenge on Cleve. This guy, Cleve is the one who killed his parents. So he's kind of like an anti-hero, even though he was out to like basically destroy the world. But he was out to kill this guy at the end of the movie, of the first season. But I don't actually remember. No one's like killed in this show. So he's just wrapped
So
around
why
or something.
are they using paintballs and not guns or?
PG kid show.
Oh my God.
It's really bad.
America is stupid. We're so stupid. That's the thing.
Throughout the first season, Lena, whatever her name was, I think it was her name. She's also working for Sasha, whatever. But she turned around and starts to hang around with the main 4. So she's like now the 5th wheel of the group. Second season, Miss Nowhere's got a job in Rio. We got to find the explanation behind this weird plant, and this girl Rafaela gathers all these plants, and these plants have a literal mind control power that she uses to spread throughout the entire town of Rio, and mind controls everyone to like basically attack everyone. And it's kind of like, I mean, she's actually, would you believe me if I said she was the best character in the show?
I mean, I don't think any of the other characters. So by process of elimination, and it's like.
Would you say she was the best character of the show if I told you that she talks like a fucking millennial, where I am so totes ready to get down.
Like Valley Girl. That's hard to Valley's thing.
Not even Valley Girl. Like I can't even fucking remember. She uses shortened phrases, like, you know how like totes is like totally. She'll just like say shit like totes.
So she's a memer.
Yeah. I can't even. I wish I cared enough. But she's actually the best character because the actress actually like is having fun with the performance, so it's pretty funny. But she's stupid. The whole point of the second season is we gotta stop mind control. Third season, Cleve breaks this guy out of jail. Him and Rafaela were trapped in an Antarctic prison. And I don't mean like a metal fortress. I mean literal ice prison.
So they
freezing.
So they like just survived somehow.
Yeah. They
That's
just somehow survived being stuck in ice.
Gotcha.
And this guy has a robotic arm. Normally, this guy's totally chill. He's like,
Because
he meditates.
in the ice prison.
Despite the ice prison, he's pretty chill. He's a cool guy in retrospect, but his mechanical arm is literally evil and forces him to do evil things. Like, it just takes over his mind, and he's just like a bad guy, and his hand just shoots laser beams. Yes, there's also lasers in the show, but they're barely ever used. The whole point of this season is that Cleve has...
It's all canon, right?
No, none of it's canon.
Okay.
None of it's canon.
So it's just branding because money.
Yes.
Okay.
Cleve here wants to create a weather machine to basically destroy the world and control wherever he can. He has like a super smart 10-year-old kid that designed the weather machine and tricks the kid into building it because he comes from a Saudi Arabian kind of place and they don't have water, so the kid's gonna use it to get water to his tribe or whatever. But he's like, no, we're gonna use it to destroy the world, and they stop him.
So you got bad guy makes crazy plan to get some magical thing that has a power for motive, and then good guys stop him for 3 seasons.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
There's like the only consistency, like in terms of, besides like the main characters, the only like through line from one season to another is literally these two characters. Because she was the main antagonist in the second season, and comes in as a secondary antagonist in the third season, and he was barely mentioned in the first season. Like he came in at the end of the first season, revealed to be the murderer of this guy's parents, and now he's like the main antagonist of the third season.
Okay.
Otherwise, all the main characters are just constantly.
What is Vin Diesel doing here? He just shows up for fan service.
He comes in the first. He comes in the first episode of the first season and the last episode of the first season, and that's it.
Okay, pure fan service. Gotcha.
Miss Nowhere is basically afraid of Dom because Dom's like the strongest guy, and although he's the one who encouraged these guys to become spies, she's now responsible for their well-being.
Okay.
So if she fucks up, he's gonna beat her up.
Okay.
What's the relation between Dom and the kid?
They're cousins.
Oh, okay.
He's the younger cousin, obviously.
So is he part of the family?
He's never mentioned in the series, in the movie series.
Okay.
He does have a cousin in the 8th movie who lives. He was seen in the beginning of the movie, but it's not the same character.
So he's just like, well, we can just assume he's like one of 23 children, and all of his parents were also 23 children, but all also had 23 children, just to be safe. Just so we can assume there's like thousands of people that are related to him potentially.
You know what? In both the TV show and the movie series, there are men with cybernetic enhancements in our Lord 2021 or 2019. I'll believe anything at this point.
Yeah.
So, and this guy's Gary. He just works for Miss Nowhere. They have like back and forth like stupid, like she's overbearing and he's submissive. So basically, they fuck.
Okay.
Leader, smart, too careful for her own good guy. Smartass, the smartest guy invents shit like no one's business. Tough, strong guy, also into cars, and token girl.
Do they race?
Token tough
this?
girl.
Do
They do race. There's actually a lot of racing in the show. Not that it's that good, but like in every season, there's at least like 2 or 3 races.
So who are the best racers out of this? That guy.
These two.
Okay.
Whatever. They have a rivalry,
Okay.
but they're clearly the one. Actually, it's not very clear. Like these two could be dating just as much as these two could be dating. But they're just rivals, and she has like a very tsundere archetype.
Okay. Makes sense given the art.
Yeah, she got the pink. She's actually got like rainbow colored hair.
She's like the rival. Yeah, it makes sense. Just given the staging and everything.
Yeah. So that's the whole show, and that is Fast and Furious. Yes.
Did they steal any DVDs in this show?
DVD players being stolen from some trucks.
No, I don't think they do. Clearly, they haven't gotten to the level of the first movie yet.
Okay, the most important thing, I need the racer tier list of every character in the show.
Like, who's the best racer?
Like, I need the tier list.
Of who's the best racer?
Yes.
Top 5 at least, maybe?
I'd say Dom, Brian, Letty, the guy from Tokyo Drift, because he raced twice. And yes, Roman or Tej, they're basically neck and neck.
Okay.
Yes.
Is this movie series where the meme comes from, where it's like Vin Diesel driving in his car and he's like, "You're my brother, and I'll always remember you," or like something like
Yes. Yeah, that was in reference to Paul Walker's death. Like at the end of the 7th movie, they play up. There's like just before the credits, after the whole movie proper is done, they're at the beach. Brian is playing with his family, his son and Mia and whatnot, and I didn't mention they had a second child, and so she was pregnant at the end of the 7th movie. Oh, and Mia will also be returning in the 9th movie since it's her brother's coming back. I mean, coming out of nowhere. But yeah, anyway, at the end of the 7th movie, they're playing on the beach. Everyone is like looking at Brian's happy life and like, you know, it's a good man. Everything's good. I wish I had that sort of life. That's good. And then Dom drives off, and Brian, like the Paul Walker's brother was used. Well, actually, I think both of Paul Walker's brothers were used as
Stunt doubles?
yeah, stunt doubles, and they like CGI'd their faces to make it look like they were Brian or Paul Walker, and so Dom and Brian are at a stop sign in the middle of wherever, and they're driving off, not like racing, just driving together, and like as the movie closes, Paul Walker's car goes off like into the sunset while Dom keeps going forward, and it says "For Paul," like movie was made for Paul.
That was 7 or?
That was 7.
No, were like they tied, or was Dom a little bit better in racing?
Dom was like the head racer of like the entire like LA scene, and Brian kind of looked up to that. So like in the first movie, like he lost to Brian. I mean, I lost to Dom, and Brian just had to keep trying to catch up. So yeah, basically Dom was.
Okay, so Don
The
is
best.
canonically best racer, hands down.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, like in the middle of the 8th movie, when they're in New York, it is like 5 cars versus Dom, and they all have these harpoons that drill into Dom's car, and they're basically like just all pulling at it to like rip it apart or just whatever, incapacitate Dom basically, and Dom does some tricky dicky shit. Like he punches the car, or like he tackles the door of his car off, so one harpoon's gone. He like speeds into another car and like brakes or something and topples that car. Dom takes down 5 cars all at once, like with no problem, and then just gets away. So everyone's like, we need everyone just to take down Dom. Dom is like the superhero of the whole show, of the whole movie series. Any other questions? Alright, well, that was the Fast and Furious lecture.
You need to make the tier maker. I want to see the tier maker. I want to see like 50 characters and see who's in C and who just sucks. And
I'll do that.
I just want to see that with all the faces.
And I don't think I ever introduced myself. I am Son of Marowak, and this.
Where can we find you online?
I am on Crash Content with these guys, and we do like random podcasts of random shit. Soon we'll be doing Evangelion versus videos, and it'll be awesome.
Not
Like,
it's
gonna have, like-
the world versus every other thing.
But I also have my own channel where I have made a bunch of video game Let's Plays, but I will be making movie review videos also. So, thanks for watching. Oh wait, let me finish this promo first.